The Samsung Galaxy S25 FE is here. I've had some early hands-on time with it, so let's compare it to the original S25 and S25 Plus to see what's different and to answer the question, which should you buy? Now, initially looking at the design of all devices, they do look quite similar. We've got flat backs with flat Armour Aluminium edges, but the camera rings have been updated on the S25 and the S25 Plus. We've got thicker camera rings, whereas the camera rings on the S25 FE look a lot like last year's S24 series. The S25 FE is around 8% thinner compared to the S24 FE, and it's also around 11% lighter. So it's coming in at 190 grams and around 7.4 millimeters, which makes it pretty similar in size and weight to the S25 Plus. The S25 is a smaller device. It's around 7.2 millimeters and around 162 grams. Now, all devices do have an IP68 water and dust resistant rating, but we do have better glass on the S25 and the S25 Plus. Gorilla Glass Victus 2 versus Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the S24 FE. I'm not exactly sure how much more durable that's going to make the S25 and the S25 Plus, but they do get this advantage here. And we also get more color options on the S25 and the S25 Plus. So the default color options are the navy, icy blue, the mint, and the silver shadow. But we do have some Samsung exclusives, which you can get from Samsung.com with my affiliate link down in the description below. And there you can also get a blue black, a coral red, as well as a pink gold. The S25 FE just comes in 4 colors, a navy, an icy blue, a jet black, as well as a white. Now, the navy color is lighter compared to what we have on the S25 and the S25 Plus. And it also doesn't have a color matched frame compared to what we have on the S25 and the S25 Plus. Now, another area where we do get an advantage on the S25 and the S25 Plus is when it comes to the displays. So all devices have Dynamic AMOLED 2X technology, but the S25 and the S25 Plus do have LTPO technology, which means they can go from 1 to 120 Hz, whereas the S24 FE can only go between 60 and 120 Hz. This will make the S25 and the S25 Plus more efficient. The S25 and the S25 Plus also have a higher peak brightness at 2600 nits versus the 1900 nits on the S25 FE, which is an improvement compared to the S24 FE, but not compared to the S25 and the S25 Plus. Now, this may not matter to you, but although the S25 FE now has slightly smaller bezels compared to last year's S24 FE, we still do get a little bit of a chin. So the bottom bezel is slightly larger compared to the other bezels. As I said, that might not matter to you, but it's something that I do have to mention. Whereas on the S25 and the S25 Plus, you do get uniform bezels. Now, the S25 Plus also gets a high resolution Quad HD Plus, so things are going to be sharper on the S25 Plus compared to the S25 and the S25 FE. Now, we have some improvements for the cameras on the S25 FE compared to the S24 FE. So we now have 20% more resolution for the selfie camera, which is now 12 megapixels, and the results do look good. And for the rear-facing cameras, we have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, a 50 megapixel primary, as well as an 8 megapixel telephoto camera. Now, if we compare this to the S25 and the S25 Plus, although for the specs, things seem similar, the ultra-wide camera on the S25 and the S25 Plus is a larger size sensor, so you're going to get better ultra-wide images. The primary camera is roughly about the same, and although all devices have a 3x optical zoom and a 30x space zoom, the S25 and the S25 Plus do have a high resolution at 10 megapixels for the optical zoom camera. So the S25 FE does have pretty decent cameras, but they're just not going to be exactly at the standard of the S25 and the S25 Plus. Now, one of the biggest differences that we have on the S25 FE compared to the S25 and the S25 Plus is when it comes to performance, because the S25 and the S25 Plus come with the top of the line, the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. They also come with 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5x RAM. The S25 FE comes with last year's Samsung Exynos 2400. Now, this is not a bad chip and it's definitely capable, but this is the chip that we had on last year's S24 and the S24 Plus. So if you compare the benchmarks of the S24 FE to the S25 and the S25 Plus, there is a significant difference. Now, this may not matter to you in your day-to-day, but when you're doing more intensive tasks, and also for the lifespan of the device, the S25 and the S25 Plus will last you longer compared to the S25 FE. And that brings me on to the software, because the good thing is that all devices do have 7 generations of OS updates and 7 years of security updates promised by Samsung. This is the best that you're going to get on Android. The advantage that you get on the S25 FE at this point in time is that it's going to come with Android 16 and OneUI 8 out of the box. The S25 and the S25 Plus have Android 15 and OneUI 7 at the time of this video. We will be getting an update to Android 16 and OneUI 8, but that's going to be in the next few months. One area where we've got the same features across devices is when it comes to Samsung Galaxy AI. So the S25 FE has the full fat Galaxy AI experience. So you've got everything from call assist, writing assist, interpreter, notes assist, transcript assist, browsing assist, photo assist, drawing assist, audio eraser, now brief. All of these things are included on the S25 FE as we've got on the S25 and the S25 Plus. Now for the batteries and charging, the S25 FE has the same size battery as the S25 Plus, 4,900 milliamps. We do have a smaller battery on the S25 because of its smaller size, 4,000 milliamps. And the S25 has 25 watts of wide charging. However, faster charging is supported on the S25 Plus as well as the S25 FE. You've got up to 45 watts of charging. Chargers will not be included out of the box. And all devices do support up to 15 watts of wireless charging. There is Qi2 supported on all devices with a compatible case. And that finally brings me on to the price. So the S25 FE will be retailing from £649 in the UK. That's for the base 128GB model. If we compare this to the launch prices of the S25 and S25 Plus, the S25 did start at £800, which is around £150 more compared to the S25 FE. And the S25 Plus started at around £1,000. Now that is for the 256GB model. So that would make it around £300 more compared to the S25 FE. Now, we do have to remember that the S25 and the S25 Plus have been out for 6 months. So if we just compared the launch prices, the S25 FE might seem like a good option, a slightly cut down version of the S25 Plus at a significantly lower price. However, because the S25 and the S25 Plus have been out for a while, I just had a look at the pricing right now. So at the time of this video, you can go onto Amazon and you can buy the S25 256GB model directly from Amazon with all of the warranty and everything for £709. So just £9 more compared to the equivalent S25 FE 256 model. And if we look at the S25 Plus right now on Amazon, you can buy it brand new with all of the warranties directly from Amazon for £799. So just £100 more compared to the 256 equivalent of the S25 FE. Now, considering these factors, it does become a lot harder to justify the price of the S25 FE because it has the chip that's from the Galaxy S24. And if we do look at the price of the S24, right now for the 128GB model, you can pick it up for £550 on Amazon. Of course, if you don't mind getting a refurbished or renewed model, then you're going to be paying even less. So based on the current pricing, if you ask me, then I would personally just spend £9 more and get the S25. Granted, you're going to get a smaller battery and a smaller screen, but you are going to be getting a better display as well as the latest Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. And personally, if you ask me, I wouldn't mind paying the £100 more and getting the equivalent S25 Plus with the better processor, better screen, better cameras, and better overall package. Now, granted, because the S25 FE is just released, you will get better pre-order deals. I believe you can get the Watch 7 for free. When you consider that, that might be a good deal for you. But I do believe that the S25 FE should have started at around $550 or even at a push at £600. And I do think the price is going to reduce over the coming months. That's what I think anyway. What do you guys think? Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you want me to cover more with the S25 FE? Definitely let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. And if you haven't already, then do consider subscribing for more content like this. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.